Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So about a year and a half ago, Tecno surprised everybody with the launch of its first ever foldable phone. Well, now the second generation is here. This is the Tecno Phantom V Fold 2. In my opinion, there are three things about this foldable that makes it appealing to some people. Number one is that this foldable has stylus support. This is still something that most other foldable phones do not offer. Only Samsung and Honor that I can think of even have stylus support. So Tecno is now the third foldable phone to offer that. And having a stylus is very useful, particularly because this phone has a lot of AI features, including sketch to image, which you draw something on a screen and it turns into a realistic looking illustration that Samsung introduced with the Fold 6, and it is here. And that leads into the second thing that I think this phone has that could make it appealing. There's surprisingly a lot of well-optimized AI features. They're the same Google-powered AI features that are in the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. So there's circle to search, there's generative AI photo editing, photo eraser, as well as the ability to long press on a photo to immediately lift that subject from the background. So these are all AI features that are genuinely useful and make my day-to-day phone usage easier. And it's really awesome to see on a Tecno foldable phone because even Vivo and Xiaomi foldable phones don't have it. The third thing that makes this phone potentially appealing is that it's probably going to sell at a much lower price than the competition. Now, I don't know the official pricing of this guy yet, but the first Fold from Tecno sold for about 1,000 US dollars. I think there may be a slight price increase because the hardware got a little bit better all around, but I think overall this is still going to be much cheaper than the 1,800 US dollars that Samsung and Google are asking for. And also, Honor's Magic V3, which is selling in Europe, is also around that same price, 1,800 US dollars. I think this guy's probably going to be around 1,100 US dollars if I have to guess. And I think when you consider that, then I think it could make the Phantom V Fold 2 appealing. Because otherwise, if it's the same price as the other guys, then no, because this phone's hardware is unfortunately slightly behind the competition. I think as you can see already, this guy is a little bit thicker and heavier than the latest foldable phones from Xiaomi and Honor. So it measures 11.78 millimeters thick, basically 11.8 millimeters. This number is actually still pretty comparable to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, but it is quite a bit thicker than the Honor Magic V3 or the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4. It also weighs 249 grams, which again is not heavy at all. I can use this guy pretty comfortably, but it is noticeably heavier than the Honor Magic V3 or the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4. So you notice that this phone's hardware only falls short when I'm comparing it to the absolute best of the best foldable hardware right now. If I bring this to the US market and compare it to the Google Pixel Fold 2 or Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, the hardware still holds up pretty well. So you have a 7.8-inch inside display, LTPO OLED panel, 120Hz refresh rate, 2K resolution. Outside, 6.4-inch screen, also LTPO OLED panel. So that's better than what Google's offering in their latest foldable because it's not an LTPO panel. However, the crease is a little bit more noticeable than, again, the best foldable phones from Honor or Oppo or Vivo. This hinge is relatively well built. As you can see, it stays in place at any angle, but it's not quite as well built as Samsung's because it's still a little bit floppy once you open up to about like right here, you see? Not the highest possible tier hinge like Samsung, but still really nice. And surprisingly, this phone apparently has IP54 water and dust resistance. Powering the Phantom V Fold 2 is the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus, so as a flagship chip with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage. There's a 5750 milliamp hour battery inside, which is larger than almost every other foldable phone on the market. So there's a lot to like with the hardware, particularly with the stylus support. The stylus is quite responsive. I don't really notice any latency. And like I said, the AI features are genuinely helpful, especially circle to search and sketch to image. Now on the software front, this phone runs Android 14 with Tecno's HiOS on top. HiOS, as I've mentioned before, is very customizable. Everything from the lock screen animations to the shape of the app icons to how the phone lights up when you unlock to the UI color scheme, everything can be completely customized. In fact, there's almost too many options here in this phone. For example, this software allows you to multitask by launching an app in split screen or in a floating window. Now, most other phones will give you one or two methods to jump into split screen or floating window, but this guy gives you 4 or 5. So there's 5 ways to launch split screen on this phone. 5 different methods to do it. And for floating windows, there's 4 ways to do it. It feels a little bit overly complicated and maybe a little bit confusing to a casual user who might just be tapping something and they'll accidentally launch split screen where they did not intend to. Otherwise, the OS is fine, animations is smooth. There is a little bit of bloatware out of the box, like Facebook is pre-installed, Instagram is pre-installed. You can uninstall them if you want though, and at least the silver lining is that everybody uses Instagram anyway, so I think it's fine. Okay, I haven't talked about the cameras yet, and I think you probably know why. It's because the cameras here unfortunately lag behind the competition. Now, they're not bad by any means, but there's a little bit of a shutter lag, especially in low light conditions, and when you're filming video, you cannot switch from the main camera to the ultra wide in the middle of recording. You have to stop the video before you make that switch. It just feels like a camera performance that's like a generation behind everybody else right now. And that's understandable because to build a good smartphone camera, you need more than good hardware. You also need very mature software image processing. And Tecno, it's a relatively new brand in terms of making flagships on the global scene. So it's still obviously behind like Xiaomi, Oppo, Honor, Samsung in terms of handling image processing. I think Tecno will eventually get there because if you remember, even like 4 or 5 years ago, Vivo cameras were not good. And then within 2-3 years, Vivo immediately jumped and now it's probably one of the best cameras around. Battery life is also very good. It has a 5,700 mAh battery, and Chinese phone software is always very good at optimization. And the good news is I'm not getting delayed notifications here like I do on some of the other China ROMs because this phone runs global ROM and Google's out of the box. You can charge the battery with the included 70-watt charger. In fact, the whole unboxing experience is very nice. You get a very nice vegan leather case too, along with a tempered glass screen protector. So overall, there's a lot to like with the Tecno Phantom V Fold 2. The hardware, like I already said, it's a little bit behind the absolute best of the best, but considering the price difference, it may be acceptable. And then the software is surprisingly polished. Like, I'm really glad to have circled the search and sketched the image and live two-way translation on this guy. So this is the Tecno Phantom V Fold 2 in a nutshell. There's a lot to like with the phone, but ultimately it hinges on the price. If this is too close in pricing to the Xiaomi or Honor foldables, then of course I would say get those phones instead. But if it's like $700 cheaper, then this might be worth a look. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this content. I have a lot more coming. Please stay tuned. Thanks for watching.